let's move to the performance measurement. Now, till this point, what we have done is we have calculated planned value, we have looked at actual cost, and on the basis of actual cost, we have calculated and planned value, we have calculated our EV, or I would say the actual work and planned value, we have calculated our earned value. With this data, what kind of performance measures we can identify in order to get an idea of where do we stand? Are we doing good cost-wise, time-wise, schedule-wise, etc., etc. So this section talks about that. Just recapping that we had a project. We thought of doing it in 6 months. We thought of spending $1,000 for this particular project. We were planning that $100 in initial 2 months, and after that we will spend $200, and planned value of, and we are doing monitoring at the end of 3rd month. So since we are doing it at the end of 3rd month, we are taking the amount of money which we have planned till that 3rd month. So our PV becomes 400. We have done some work. So our actual cost is 500. We have spent $500, and earning the amount of work which we have completed. If we look that work in the terms of a planned rate, we have earned $300 by this point of time. So let's look at the performances. So EVM talks about 2 dimensions of performance, schedule and cost. And in these 2 dimensions, we have variances and we have indexes. So the first performance measurement is schedule variance. In a schedule variance, we look at what is the variance between, what is the difference between the money earned and the planned value. So schedule variance can be looked as EV minus PV, earned value minus planned value. This particularly defined that is the project is behind or ahead in accomplishing work. Now here I want to put a stress on a lot of time, even the PMBOK language sometimes lead to a misinterpretation, thinking the schedule variance is a time-based indicator. Schedule variance is not a time-based indicator. It only tells that we were expected to finish $500 work and we have done $300 work. So it is more like project is falling behind or ahead in accomplishing work. It is not giving us we are delayed by 1 month, we are delayed by 10 days, or we are delayed by X days. So it is just we are expected to do this much and we have done this much only at that particular point in time. And schedule variance becomes gray or less value adding when you reach near to the project completion. So at the end of project completion, the schedule variance becomes 0. Why? Even if you are taking 3 months extra, even if you are taking 10 months extra, at the end you are finishing the planned value. And it means if you have thought of finishing the 100 units, you may take 1 month more, but you finish all 100 units. So you earn 1,000, which was planned for that particular project. So you do the 100% completion of work. So at the end of the project, schedule variance becomes 0, which means you have completed the amount of work which was planned. That's it. It is not giving us that you were ahead or behind the schedule. So if we have a negative variance, it represents that we have not finished that much money worth work at that particular point in time. How do we interpret schedule variance? If it's positive, it means it's good. We are earning more than planned. Means by the end of this month, I was expected to finish 40 units, but I have done 50 units. If I do more, I am earning more. It may be that you also have spent more money, but here we are not talking about actual cost. When we look at SV-based performance, we only look at how much work you should have finished by this point in time. I answer 40. What you have done till this point in time, I have done 50. It's positive. means you have accomplished more work than planned. But in our project, I have done 30, so it's negative. EV is less than planned value, so I have done less work than initially planned. Now, SV, schedule variance, can also be looked in the percentile term. So SV percentile, usually you don't find this particular formula in PMBOK, but the practice guide talks about it. So sometimes you get in practice test or somewhere, so it's better to be aware about it. So schedule variance percentage is all about dividing the schedule variance with the planned value. So SV divided by PV is a schedule variance percentile formula. And in this particular case, if we look at our PV was 400, our EV was 300, so our schedule variance came to 100. And if I divide minus 100 with 400, I get minus 25. So it means that 25% of the planned work have not been completed. So it gives us a percentile number that what percentage of work is not yet complete. So schedule variance can be also be looked in a percentile format. The another thing which gives us completion status, that how much work has been completed against the plan, is a schedule performance index. So schedule performance index indicates how the project team is working compared with the plan. It is earned value divided by planned value. So if you notice, when we were looking at schedule variance, we were EV minus PV. So two units which were playing the role in schedule variance was earned value and planned value. Cost is nowhere when we talk about schedule based index. AC is not included. So schedule performance index, if you divide the earned value by the planned value, it comes with a SPI. If it is less than 1, indicates less work has been accomplished than planned. If it is more than 1, it indicates that we have done more work than planned. For our project, it is 0.75. So we have only did 75% of the work originally planned. Now, cost variance, the second performance measurement which we use in EVM, and this is the most popular one. Usually people use EVM for cost related variances more. So it is like amount of budget deficit or surplus at a given point in time. It is calculated by subtracting earned value with an actual cost. So in our case, our earned value was 300 and our actual cost was 500. We get minus 200 as a cost variance. It means our budget is deficit by $200. So it indicates basically a relationship of a physical performance to the cost spent. Like we are behind, we are under, like our budget deficit is $200 at this point in time. How do we look at it? Again, if it is positive, it means earned value is more than actual cost. You have finished work more than spent. Now, here we are not talking about schedule. Even if I do a less amount of work than planned, but if I spend less than the budgeted rate, I may still get positive cost variance. So if my earning at that particular point in time is more than my spending, I get a positive variance, and reverse is negative. It can also be looked in a percentile term. So cost variance percentile is cost variance divided by earned value. So it's a percentage over or under budget. If you want to know at what percentage we are over budget, at this point in time in this project we are over budget by 66%. So we need more money. If we look at this particular variance, we need 66% more money if the trend remains like this. Same like schedule performance index, we do have a cost performance index, and this is the one of the clearest indicator of cost efficiency of the project. So CPI is like EV divided by AC. So here we are dividing what we have earned than what we have spent. In our project, it is 300 by 500. It's 0.6. It determines what do we get every dollar spent. What does it mean? 0.6 indicates that we are only getting 60 cents by our $1 spending. So we are not using our resources efficiently in this particular example. So if you look back to our graph, which we were plotting in our segment 1, where we were talking about how the actual cost and earned value is coming, the difference between EV earned value and the difference between earned value and planned value gives us a schedule variance. The difference between actual cost and earned value, the green line, gives us cost variance. The schedule variance is EV minus PV. So in both the variances, the first unit or first variable is earned value. So if you want to just memorize these two things, you should just remember, be it CV, be it cost variance or schedule variance, the first variable is earned value. If it is about schedule, the second variable is going to be a planned value because it's about a schedule thing. It is not about cost. If this indicator is about cost, the second variable is going to be a actual cost because it is about cost. So SV is EV minus PV, schedule performance index is EV divided by PV, cost variance is EV divided by AC, and schedule cost performance index is, schedule variance is EV minus AC, and cost performance index is equal to EV divided by AC. Now this table, which is given in practice guide of earned value management, is very obvious. Most of you would be knowing about it or you understand it, but it's good to read it a few times to get a clear indicator that what cost variance and schedule variance, if they come together, gives tells about the project. So the healthy thing is both of them are 1. So if the schedule variance or schedule performance index is 1, the cost performance index is also 1, your project is on schedule, on budget. But if you have cost performance CPI is less than 1, you talk about you are over budget. And if you have a schedule performance index less than 1, it shows behind schedule. So I would say that it shows that you have done less amount of work than planned. That is the more accurate statement than just saying that behind schedule, because a lot of time we think that schedule means time, and at the end of the project we cannot tell that everything becomes on schedule. So even at the end of the project, SPI becomes 1, we can't just tell that we are in this column. But till the time you are not hitting the end, or if you are not closer towards the ending, this particular measurement or information makes the complete sense. Now you may wonder then, okay, what if you want to make some sense of project progress in time dimension? Then how do we do it if SPI cannot help it? We need to add reports which are linked with critical path method or whatever scheduling tool is used in a project in order to get some time-based indicator or a time-based sense of our project. So you can keep typing your questions here, and I am putting some polls. So I have 2 polls which are again numericals. So since we had some text limit, so some shortcut or a trimming of language may happen. So just ignore that. But this is the first question. What should be the answer of this? And I am looking at the question box by the time you are answering here. Now it is schedule variance. So it is not about schedule performance index. It is about variance. So it's not SPI. It is SV. So some of you have not yet picked your options. Please do that, and then we can take. So I am closing the poll, and there is a good news. So majority of you have selected the right option. So it's good. We are achieving our learning objective. So there is one more to go. So you can just sorry, get a feel of it. And I am posting the second one. Okay, so I got one question, that what is the best way to memorize these formula? If we get the concepts right, you may not require to memorize them. And usually what people do is, when they reach to a test center, they prepare the formulas, they write down the formulas in their scratch card. Now how do, because since you know the concept, you can easily visualize that what would be the EV or what is the formula for variances and schedule performance indexes. So a lot of time it happens that during the exam you get stressed and you may start doing even simple mistakes. So it's good to consolidate your thoughts as you reach your examinations say computer before you start the exam. And if we start practicing, so one nice keeps is sharing that if you keep practicing, they comes on tips. So that's true. If you keep practicing, keep taking the questions, they will come on your tips. You don't have to think about the formula before applying to them. So not many people are selecting options in this particular poll. I know this question is making you calculate CPI and SPI, and then only you can know where do you stand. So yes, the trick for this particular question is, first you need to calculate the cost performance index and schedule performance index, and then figure it out where they stand. If both of them are coming like more than one, then it's a happy situation. So it means if SPI is 1, it means you are ahead of schedule. Good. So you zero into 2 options, then you look at the cost performance index, and if you find that cost performance index is also doing good, if it is also 1, then it's a happy state. You are ahead of schedule and your cost is well managed. That's it. And how do you calculate cost performance index? By dividing the earned value with the actual cost. And how do you calculate schedule performance index? By dividing the earned value with the planned value. Okay, so not many responses, but the good thing is that whoever the majority of responses are pointing towards the right answer. So if you want to know the calculation behind it, I can post it in a forum. Let me just close the poll and share the result with you. It may give you some good indicator. The project is 40% complete after 3 months and has cost of 350,000. Now it means our actual cost is 350,000. Now budgeted completion is given, which is 9,500. So no, sorry, 950,000. So the issue here is we don't know the planned value. In this case, we can assume that it could be based on percentage completion. So you can calculate the BAC multiplied by 40% gives you the earned value. So the project is completed, is the completed work is 40%. So EV, earned value, is coming on the basis of budget multiplied by completed percentage. What was expected completion? In this particular question, since we don't know was it linear progress or something else, in such cases in exam we need to assume linear. So it is like if the project is expected to last for 8 months and if 3 months are over, so we need to assume that the similar amount of progress was expected to be made month on month. So on the basis of 3 months, we need to calculate what was an expected percentage completion. So that expected percentage completion will help us in calculating the plant value. So what I will do, I will share the calculation in our forum so you can get the exact details there. Okay, so I just need to hide it. It's over. And okay, before we move to the final segment, if we have any questions, please shoot it to me. How often, I have a question that how often is EVM used in projects? So as I said, that till the time you have a compliance mandate, people don't use the EVM. And even if the second follow-up question could be that how often do we calculate earned value and variances? So even if you are using EVM, until unless you are using an automated tool, usually at a frequency you do all these EVM calculations. You don't do it every day. A follow-up questions, how do I can access your forum? So we have a forum, forum.eisenbridge.com. You can just register it and access it. There is an open area where people can post queries related to PMP exam. It's quite active forum. So just register yourself. There is a free open area, and we use that for precursor to our webinars and to answer all follow-up queries related to project management. It's forum.eisenbridge.com. Okay, so